So if somebody asked you to build the perfect drag car with some of the most utmost reliability, what would you choose? Personally, I would probably do something like this. Take a Fox Body Cobra and throw a Gen 2 Coyote in it that's bone stock, put oil pump gears in it, and throw a giant turbo on it, making 1,000 horsepower off the rip. So you have a factory motor that you could grab parts from any auto parts store, and a T56 Magnum transmission just faceplated to make it even more reliable. So by doing this ultimate combination with the Fox Body's legendary drag racing history, what's it like to drive? Let's talk about it. Come drift into a different dimension at Caffeine Octane Linear Raceway for Cosmic Drift on October 26, 2024 with LED lights, visuals, lasers, music, and so much more. Driver sign up and tickets are on sale now, and I really hope to see you there. It is not every day that you start driving a full-blown drag car on slicks and skinnies down a gravel road. Hello and welcome to the fastest Fox Body I have ever driven and been in. The Fox Body, always known as one of the best drag platforms of all time. And this one's really special because it's owned by my buddy Jonathan, who actually let me drive his Fox Body all the way back in 2019, which was Terminator Cobra powered. Time to spin! He then sold that car to build this car. What this is a Fox Body Cobra, which had some minor differences to the normal Fox Body. And what he did was he took a Gen 2 Coyote that's bone stock, then put oil pump gears in it for safety of the rev limiter, threw a massive FP91 turbo on it, and then decided, hey, I'm gonna go do Sick Week at this thing. And Sick Week is a drag and drive event. If you don't know what that is, what essentially it is you can't trailer your car. You have to go to the event in your race car. Another thing you'll notice driving this car on the street is that this is actually a face-plated T56 Magnum. And what that means is that you need to be really aggressive when you shift into gear. It's a stronger transmission, but it makes big fat clunks when you shift into it. If you don't rev match it, you're gonna get a nice loud metal pop. So if you don't know what a face-plated trans is, the best way I can describe it in a nutshell explanation is you have a normal gearbox, let's say T56, that has synchros in it and it feels normal. Then it's face-plated, which removes the synchros, but it's still stronger typically than the normal transmission. And then there's dawg box, which is pretty much the most extreme version. So it's kind of in that middle ground between dawg box and a normal transmission. Okay. But on 3 pounds of boost on this turbo setup, this car makes 600 wheel horsepower. When it's turned all the way up, it makes 1,000 wheel horsepower on the stock Coyote, which is pretty amazing. So the car fully turned up makes 1,000 wheel horsepower. It also uses a CO2 system, which is really neat. God. Skinnies on the street, you have to be very careful when you do any sort of cornering or turning. We're in Florida, not really that big of a deal here, but you feel the whole car squat and go crazy. It has strange suspension all the way around, strange brakes all the way around. Half of the Motion Raceworks catalog, as Jonathan says, the thing is a full-blown race car, right? And the car, while missing a gear, still ran low 9s at like 160 something, which is absurd. Every stoplight, you feel almost wrong having a parachute on the back. Also, the cowl hood is pretty tall. It's not that bad to see over, but I'm sure if you weren't used to something like this, you'd be a little intimidated. Face-plated transmission feels super violent the whole time you drive it. The car also has a Holley EFI, Holley Terminator ECU in it, Holley dash as well. Really nice just to have and get rid of all the old gauges. Plus, when you're doing a swap like this, it's much easier just to have a digital dash and get it all done. Especially, I will say though, out of all the cars that went on Sick Week, this is definitely one of the ones I would prefer to take on it. Still has a full interior, even with the massive cage on it. And Yeah, he made it work. You know what? We're in warm weather and the slick's hooked up and went straight as an arrow. Because the Terminator would kind of like fall off on the top end, right? The same day we filmed the Terminator, we filmed this MR2 with a 3S GTE in it, and Jonathan would get the jump and then the MR2 would come by. My God! Well, with the turbo system in this thing is just a back-halfing monster. So his first kind of thing, he leaves the line on like 3 to 5 pounds of boost, and then he throws all of it in the back half. He's trying to get it to be a little bit faster off the line, but still running low 9s with just 3 pounds of boost, 5 pounds of boost coming off is still really impressive. It's a full-blown race car, there's no doubt about it, but it's still kind of fun to drive on the street. You know, at any moment you can downshift and be a maniacal crazy person. Okay. Is you don't hear a lot of turbo. You just hear the motor and it just goes. Yeah, buddy, man, that is awesome. Because you still have the familiarity of a T56, right? It's face-plated, it's loud, it's ridiculous. It still shifts like all these other cars that have T56s in them, like Vipers, Corvettes, some Mustangs. It still has that familiarity to it. So this thing goes legitimately straight as an arrow. I'm really impressed with it so far. The slicks are on like 18 PSI right now, so theoretically you could go lower, but it's doing the thing. It's doing a really great job. God. Crazy, dude. So the other thing too is what's really surprising is, so it uses a Gen 3 Coyote intake manifold, but on a Gen 2 motor. And then the intake system is actually really interesting because the throttle body aims almost straight up in the Coyote, but in the Fox Body, it fits extraordinarily well with the aftermarket hood that's on this. That's pretty cool, not gonna lie. So I just got a text message during this review from Jonathan, who's just hanging out at his house. He was kind enough to just let me take it out. He texted me and said, I can hear you. I can hear you all the way from my house. Third gear roll-on's pretty dope. Also, I just have to add, the color of this thing is so gorgeous, and believe it or not, it started as a black car. It is a color change car, but whoever did it did a phenomenal job because the bay's painted, the jams are painted. It was done extraordinarily well. This also has a built 373 rear end, which is actually what the performance pack Coyotes come with from like 11 to 14. 373 traditionally is, oh, that's a little too short for a boosted Coyote, but in this Fox Body, it is legitimately perfect with this wheel and tire setup. It's funny, Jonathan always builds these really unique cars. He has the Ameribera Trailblazer I drove, which is essentially an inline-six turbo, but in a Trailblazer. He also had a twin-turbo Viper I drove by him too. Incredibly hospitable guy, but incredibly diverse lineup. And he just shows he's a real car guy. But this is his baby, right? This is the car he's been wanting to build for so long. It looks so fantastic. It drives great. When you're in the power, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Typically slicks and skinny stuff, it will get floaty in the nose. But as of right now, it's it's still very controllable. Also, if you want to see Jonathan's crazy builds that he does, make sure to go check out his YouTube channel because he's so hospitable and such a nice guy. Definitely check it out. I'll put it in the link in the description below and right here. The Fox Body Mustangs, to me, when I was a kid, I didn't really understand the appeal of them until I literally went to a drag strip. And then when I went to a drag strip and saw how well they were used, I finally understood. I finally got it. And with their lightweight chassis and everything else, that's why you see so many used as drift cars now, drag cars now. It's a fun platform, and the aftermarket is so big, and that's why so many of them are used. But I really do think Jonathan built the pinnacle sick week Fox Body, right? It's an OEM motor. You can find parts for it at your local dealership. Big turbocharge, lots of character. It dead hooks and goes. Not a single moment today did I go, oh God, this is bad. And it freaking rips too. I was really expecting to manhandle this thing today, and it's been nothing but incredible. So once again, make sure to check out Jonathan's YouTube channel. He's a super nice guy. And at the same time, what do you think about this Fox Body? Personally, it's my favorite Fox I've ever been in, ever driven. I love the sound of it. It's not super raspy like some Coyotes. Exhaust sounds great, and it just makes gobs of power all the time. As soon as you get on it, it rips high. It does everything you want. And on that note, I typically upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.